The chapter is titled Jay and Vijay Cursed by the Sages. So let me share my screen. Okay. Okay. विश्वस्य यस्तिति लयोद्भव हेतुराद्यो योगेश्वरैरपि दुरत्यया योगमाया क्षेमं विधास्यति स नो भगवान् त्रयादिश तत्रास्मदीया विंशनेन कियान् इहार्तः विश्वस्य यस्थितिलयोद्भवहेतुराद्यो योगेश्वरैरपि दुरत्यय योगमाया क्षेमं विधस्यति स नो भगवान् त्रियादिश तत्रास्मदीया विमर्शेन कियान् इहार्थ. Okay, who would like to chant? Mother?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. विश्वस्य यस्थितिलयोद्भवहेतुराद्यो
Vishwasya yasthiti layodbhava heturadhyo
योगेश्वरैरपि दुरत्यययोगमाया
yogeshwarer api duratyaya yogamaya
क्षेमं विधस्यति स नो भगवान् त्रियाधीश
Shimam vidasyati sano bhagavamstrayadisas
तत्रास्मदीया विमृशेन कियान् इहार्थ.
Tatra masadhya vimrashena kiyani hartha. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to chant?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I can try.
Yes.
विश्वस्य यस्थितिलयोद्भवहेतुराद्यो योगेश्वरैरपि धुरत्यययोगमाय क्षेमं विदास्यति स नो भगवांस्त्रयाधीशास्तत्रास्मधाय विमर्शेन कियान् इहार्तः. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Anyone else? When you pray Vijayamati? Is that Navni?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. विश्वस्य यस्थितिलयोद्भवहेतुराद्यो
Vishwasya yastiti layodvaba heturadyo
योगेश्वरेरपि दुरत्यययोगमाया
yogeshwarairapi duratyaya yogamaya
क्षेमं विधस्यति स नो भगवान् त्रियाधीश
क्षेमं विदास्यति सनो भगवांस्त्रियादिश
तत्रास्मदीया विमृशेन कियान् इहार्थ.
तत्रास्मदीय विमृशेन कियान् इहार्थ. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Thank you for reading. So thank you everyone. So the last verse that we discussed was again a verse from this chapter, and we have been discussing the section where so we are at the gate, the seventh gate of the Vaikunta, and we are seeing the entire episode between Jay Vijay and the four Kumaras, and we read like the whole interaction where it happened that Jay and Vijay were cursed by the four Kumaras, and then they both of them all of a sudden felt repentant, and the Lord appeared, and the Lord spoke to the four Kumaras, and then when he spoke to the four Kumaras, he actually glorified the Brahmanas and said, "Oh, you four Kumaras, my glory is because of you. Lakshmi does not leave me because of you. I actually eat through your mouth." And that way he glorified the four Brahmanas. And after this, because the four Kumaras were actually, we can meditate on the situation that the four Kumaras are thinking that, oh, Jay and Vijay, so dear devotees of the Lord we have cursed them, we have made them mistake. And now the Lord is coming and he's actually glorifying. So one way the four Kumaras are like confused. They're like, we actually cursed your dear servants, you are glorifying us, what do you expect from us? And we ended with this point, which is a very important point, that when you make a mistake, right? And then let's say a senior devotee comes and he starts glorifying you for things that you know for sure I have not done it. Then what does that make you? You're already feeling repentant because of a mistake. Here, the four Kumaras, we're thinking that that curse is actually a mistake. And then when you're glorifying for something that you have not done, then it actually makes you even more humble. And it is only out of that humility that one can really understand the Lord. It's so interesting that the Acharyas compare, they say Dainya and Prema, they are synonymous. They are the same in the sense that to the extent humility arises in the core of our heart, to that extent love of Godhead will actually awaken in our heart. So humility and prema, dainya and prema, right? They are synonymous. So Lord, by speaking these words, He is, whenever the Lord does anything, He one way fulfills so many different purposes, right? So one is He's actually teaching to the whole world the glories of Brahmanas. The second here, he's actually creating that humility in the heart of the Brahmanas, right? And also to his servants Jay and Vijay, one way he's teaching them, see how these Brahmanas, even though they are, look like they are young boys, these 5-year-old boys, they are naked, still they are the Brahmanas and hence they are so glorious, right? So then last verse we discussed was when the Kumaras, they replied to Narayan. And they actually said that we cannot understand why are you glorifying us? And then to every point that Narayan has said, that basically he said that your glory is because of us. And the four Kumaras saying, no, how can that be? You are eternally glorious. You are not dependent on anyone for your glory. And then another point that the folk Narayan himself said is like, Lakshmi does not leave me because of my service to you. And then to counteract that, the four Kumaras are actually saying that it is actually Lakshmi ji, you are not attached to Lakshmi because she is your wife, but you are attached to the activities of your pure devotees, right? So and then the point about Lakshmi ji, that the four Kumaras are saying that all the way from Brahma, all personalities, everyone is seeking the blessings of Lakshmi, seeking the favor of Lakshmi, and Lakshmi herself is seeking your favor. So how can it be that because of our glory that Lakshmi is not leaving you, right? So the entire conversation is going on. So they continue, glorifying the Lord. So we won't cover all the verses in this verse, but in the section. But they actually, the four Kumaras are actually saying that what you are saying is just to teach an example to people in general, because if people in general, they do not protect the Brahmanas, they do not give that respect and worship to the Brahmanas, and because Brahmanas are supposed to be the transparent medium of the wisdom of the Vedas, the Brahmanas, the first duty of the Brahmanas is to study the Shastras, Pathan, Pathan, and then teach that to others. So how do we know what is Vedas, what is the essence of all the scripture? Well, Brahmanas are the ones who are learned and who are supposed to teach the other Varnas. So Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So duty of the Brahmana is to teach Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudras about the wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita. They are supposed to be the head of the society, guiding the society on the authority of the scriptures, right? So hence they are making the point that your glorifying us is just to show the entire world the glories of Brahmanas, right? And then they glorify the Lord, and there's a beautiful verse where they actually say that it's a very sweet verse, that they say your glory is not minimized because of any position that you take, right? So just to give an example to that, so Prabhupada in the purport, he actually explains, now if you say Krishna became a cowherd boy in Vrindavan, now his accepting, that's his eternal form, but he's becoming a cowherd boy, and then he is dependent on Mother Yashoda. When he's hungry, he goes to Mother Yashoda, he cries, he steals butter. All these activities, that does not minimize the position of the Lord. Then another example is given when Sudama came, and then Krishna actually, he made Sudama sit on his own bed. and then he washed the feet of Sudama. Does that mean that now Krishna is his position is minimized? No, he is always transcendental. He is always the original creator. He is always the original supreme personality of God. When Krishna is driving the chariot of Arjuna, now that role, like in that time in the Vedic society, that role of a chariot driver is actually considered a low occupation. Right? But Krishna accepting that role, does that minimize the glory of Krishna? No, no. Actually, it further glorifies the glories of Krishna. And then that story, the famous story of how Mahaprabhu was in South India, and that person who could not really understand, like read the Bhagavad Gita clearly, but just when he used to think that how Krishna has taken the role of a chariot driver for his friend Arjuna. Just that meditation, just that thought brought tears to his eyes. So Krishna, by accepting these positions, like when Yudhishthira Maharaj did the Rajsuya Yagya, and then everyone was like, all the Pandavas were assigned different duties. Bhima said, you take care of all the cooking, right? I mean, that's that's the seva that he likes because he likes to eat. So, and then everyone was given a particular kind of seva. Duryodhan said, okay, you take care of all the money that comes and count all the Lakshmi. But what was Krishna's service? He actually took up the service. I will wash the feet of all the guests. Now, if you imagine Krishna, Supreme Personality, he's washing the feet, and someone will say, that is like a low. No, no. Krishna, being the Supreme Personality of God, doing that humble seva is actually the glories of Lord Shri Krishna. Right? The glories of Krishna. So, the beautiful point. So, four Kumara are actually making this point that you are Sattva Nidhi. You are an ocean of pure goodness. And there cannot be anything that will minimize your position. Your potency is not reduced by submissive behavior, like we see in these examples. Right? It's also said that when Krishna was a small boy, and then Nanda Maharaj used to ask, "Can you bring my shoes?" And then little Krishna used to carry the shoes of Nanda Maharaj on his head with great difficulty and bring it. Now he's carrying the shoes of his father, and Krishna is Supreme Person. But that does not minimize Krishna. It further glorifies Krishna. So the four Kumaras are speaking in this way. Very nice. And then they end with this point that actually we have made a mistake. By cursing Jay and Vijay, they are actually two faultless persons. So we have made a mistake. Therefore, whatever punishment you decide to give us, we accept it. We accept it. Whatever punishment you want to give us, we are accepting it. So that's how they end. So you see how that mood of humility has come, the mood of Krishna, whatever you do, we accept it. Right? We accept it. Right? So that kind of humility has now one way arisen in these four Kumaras. Right? Now, after this, it is described further that how right. I mean, there's so many nice verses here. Prabhupada actually makes this point. Okay, I'll continue. So the Lord, he actually replies after this, and he says that he makes a very nice point. The Lord actually says that, oh Brahmanas, your curse, that what you curse Jay and Vijay, that is actually my plan. It was actually my plan that these two servants of me will actually take the nature of demons. Even though their bodies are actually completely transcendental, they are pure devotees of the Lord. Imagine having the position of Jay and Vijay in the spiritual world. Their body is completely pure. They are the best of all devotees. So it's not possible that they made a mistake, but your cursing them is actually my plan, right? And why is this the Lord's plan? And this is actually the point that Jay and Vijay, they had a desire because of their love for Krishna. They had so much love for Krishna. They had desire that the Lord, Lord, actually it's a desire of the Lord. That the Lord actually was, there is so many different kinds of rasa in the spiritual world, and one of the rasa is the joy of fighting. So Jay and Vijay were actually thinking that the Lord, this is also a rasa. The Lord also enjoys to fight, but who in the spiritual world can fight the Lord? And just to give pleasure to the Lord, just to make sure that every aspect of the Lord's pleasure is fulfilled. Jay and Vijay said, okay, we will take the position because we want to serve you, we want to give the pleasure of that fighting. We will take the position where we will become your demons and we will actually fight with you. So even that Jay and Vijay coming and taking these roles and fighting, it is actually their service to increase the rasa of Krishna. And this is actually the mood of pure devotees. Everything pure devotees actually do is to give pleasure to Krishna. And here we are seeing how pure devotees even imagine taking the role of demons. But if that is pleasure to Krishna, I will do that. Like we hear about how, Prabhupada, there's a conversation where he actually said, if we have to go to hell, sure. If Krishna wants me to go to hell to preach Krishna consciousness, I will do that. This is a mode of devotee, willing to go anywhere, willing to take any position. Why? Just to give pleasure to the Lord. Right? Just so Jay and Vijay had this. If this is going to please you, we will take that. So the whole thing was actually the Lord having a desire, but the devotees understanding the desire of the Lord and fulfilling that desire, and the whole pastime being orchestrated in that way. And then the other lesson that actually Prabhupada speaks in this is the Lord, by this entire pastime, not only Jay and Vijay are going to give pleasure to the Lord by fighting, but also the Lord is actually teaching all of us, warning all the sadhakas to be careful of committing any offenses. See here, there's one where we understand the lila aspect, the rasa aspect of it. But if you see one level outside, then you see like, oh, see what happened. By cursing, they became demon. They did an offense. So that teaches us how we have to be so careful not to commit offenses. But like dealing with Vaishnavas, we are always careful. Vaishnavas are so great devotees, so dear to Krishna. How we have to be careful, so that we not commit any offenses to them. Okay, so that's the point. So the Lord actually, he speaks and he actually says that the punishment of them was actually ordained by me. But they will they will very quickly return back to me. And how will they return back? And here the Lord actually says, because even though they have become demons, they will actually always meditate on me. And by that meditation of me, they will actually come back to me. Right? So this actually shows that in the 7th canto, there is this verse in the 1st chapter of the 7th canto, where it actually says, where it is described, it starts off with this conversation that Yudhishthira Maharaj, he actually says, well, in the Rajasuya Yagya, we actually saw that when Krishna actually sent the Sudarshan Chakra to chop off Shishupal's head, we saw Shishupal's soul leaving and entering to Krishna. So he actually went back to Krishna. So how can we understand he was a demon? What happened? And Narad Muni is giving the answer, and he actually tells this verse in the 7th canto, 1st chapter, where it says, Tasmad vairanu bandhena nirvairyane bhayena va sneha kaman va yunja kathinchin nekshate pridam. That even whatever emotions one may have, even if there's another verse actually, kama dveshat bhayat snehat yata bhaktya veshar manaha. It says by lust, by anger, by greed, by affection, by devotion, whatever the emotion is, if somehow or other, if it is connected with the Lord, if you are thinking of the Lord, even if it's negative, that also will actually attract one to the Lord. For the point for us is we don't want to think negatively of the Lord. We want to always cultivate the positive devotion, the positive mood towards the Lord. But even if someone has a negative, and that's the point, that these three, Jay and Vijay will appear as three demons, but while they are these demons, they will be completely absorbed, right? We hear in Hiranyakashipu, because Vishnu killed his brother. He was always thinking, oh, Vishnu, where is Vishnu? Where is Vishnu? I have to kill him. I have to fight with him. He's my enemy. And that way he was always thinking of Vishnu, right? So in this section, the word is actually used. It says samrambha yoga. A yoga of meditating on the Lord in anger. And Jay and Vijay will actually do that. And that meditation also they got purified, and they will come back to me. So in that way, the Lord is actually revealing His whole plan, that yes, they will go down, but they will come back to me very quickly, because they will be absorbed in meditation of me. Right. So one way the Lord is also teaching us the power of absorption. That somehow or other, if we can think of Krishna, imagine. So the point for us is, imagine if someone is negatively thinking of Krishna. Krishna is so kind that he'll actually give him liberation. What about if we positively, with mode of affection, we absorb our mind on Krishna? Imagine how much benefit, how much Krishna will be attracted with that. Right. So that's our take-home lesson from this whole thing. Right? And yeah, so that's what the Lord speaks, and then after that is described how the Kumaras, they depart, and then the Lord actually spoke to Jay and Vijay, and he said, "Now go to the material world, but do not fear." You know, um, um, though, and actually the Lord makes this point that though they curse you, but I have the power to counteract, nullify their curse. I can just say, oh, the curse, you are my servants, the curse does not apply to you. And for devotees, Lord actually, someone may curse a devotee, but it's all the Lord's plan whether that curse should actually be, how that curse should actually come. So the Lord said, I can take it off, but there is a bigger plan. So I do not want to go against my own rules, where I have talked of Vaishnava or Brahmanapad. Hence you go down, but soon by meditating on me in anger, you will actually come back to me. Right? And then the Lord goes back into his, where he came from inside the Vaikuntha. He goes back into Vaikuntha, and it's described how Jay and Vijay fall from the spiritual world, and it is described they lose their luster. Why? Because of the offense, because of the curse of the Brahmanas, right? And then as they fall down, then all the demigods, they are actually hearing this whole thing, and then there is like a disappointment, a great roar of disappointment arose in all the demigods. And now Brahma is actually telling, and why is Brahma? He's actually speaking to those demigods who don't know why this darkness coming from the womb of Deity is actually engulfing the entire world. Why everything is becoming so dark, right? In response to that, Brahma has told this whole story that the two souls in the womb of Deity are none other than Jay and Vijay, and now they are going to appear as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, and these demons are in the womb, and hence there is actually darkness everywhere. Okay, so that's the the whole pastime here. And then today's verse, which will quickly complete. So this is the last verse that Brahma speaks, talking to the demigods, and he says, Vishwasya. If you see the first line here, Vishwasya, universe, and three aspects: Sthiti, Laya, and Udbhava. Sthiti means the maintenance, Laya means destruction, and Udbhava means creation. So creation, maintenance, destruction of this universe. Hetu, who is the cause of everything? Adyo, that original personality, Krishna, Vishnu, Narayan, he is the cause of creation, maintenance, and destruction of the entire universe. Further, Yogeshwarair api duratya. Duratya means very difficult. Yogamaya, that internal potency of the Lord, the internal energy of the Lord, Duratya, is actually difficult to understand. Even those who are yoga, it's like Yogeshwara, right? Yoga Ishvara. Those who are masters of yoga. Even if someone has mastered yoga, it is very difficult to understand that Yogamaya, the internal potency of the Lord. Further, third line he says, Shemam vidasyati sa no bhagavans triyadish. Right? So this word triyadish means three, adish means the controller. He's the controller of the three modes of material nature. So three modes of material nature can never act on the Lord. Shemam vidasyati. So basically here it says Shemam means good will do, right? So that same Lord who is the controller of the three modes of material nature, who is the cause behind the maintenance, creation, and destruction of the world, who even great yogis cannot understand his internal potency, that same Lord is going to Shema, is going to appear, and he will actually solve this whole problem. Right? So Brahma is assuring that yes, they are Jay and Vijay now coming in the form of demon. Hence that is the whole thing. But have the assurance that Bhagwan, that supreme personality of God, it will come and he will do Shema. Shema means good for all of us. right? So this, I mean, what Brahma is actually making a point is a very, very okay. I'll just finish the last line, and therefore, and therefore, he actually makes a lot. Vimrasena means deliberation. Iha on the subject, artha. Therefore, see, having the faith that yes, Krishna is going to come, what can we gain by simply thinking of, oh, this problem is there, how will we solve it? Oh, I'm in anxiety because entire universe is covered with darkness. What will that help? So it's very interesting. Practically, this verse is a very powerful verse. Uh, that when we are in some difficult situations, and we naturally, our mind goes and we keep thinking that, oh, this happened to me, and many times we are lamenting, if only I would have done this, then maybe I could have solved it. If only I have this, save money, I could have solved this, or if only I had done, and then the list keeps going on, and the mind keeps finding, if only then the situation would not have happened. Or that is one aspect, right? And then the other aspect, when the problem comes, then we are thinking, oh, this problem has come, now it is going to get worse. And then the mind creates like a horror to the whole problem. So the mind, what is it doing? Either is saying, okay, if this had happened, that then the situation would not have happened. And the other side, so going to the past or in the future, right? Past and future, that's what the mind keeps going. In the future, it says, oh, this problem is worse, and then it's going to get worse, and what will I do? How will I solve it, right? But what is Brahma saying? What is the use of lamenting over the past and then thinking that worrying over the future? What is the use of this? Have the faith that that Lord who is the cause of maintenance, creation, and destruction, that Lord whose internal potency is beyond our conception, have faith. Shemam Vidasiti. He will come, He will take care of us. So, even for us as sadhaka, to have the faith that yes, Krishna has a plan. I cannot. And the second line is saying, Duratya. We may say, like, why so much? Like Prabhupada and Purport, he talks about like sometimes devotees who are preaching, they actually face so many austerities. And one may say, like, this devotee is actually doing so much service for the Lord. He's going out, he's distributing books. Why the Lord actually subjected him to so much difficulty or challenges, or some devotees are doing so much seva and then they fall sick and then they have cancer or something. All this, and you say, like, why Lord? How can I understand? He did so much seva for you. So how do we answer this? We answer this that we know the Lord is, He is, always, He is our well-wisher. He is always thinking for our, He is actually how Bhagavad Gita says, Suryadas Sarvadehina. He is our best friend. The Lord is our best friend. And then why this situation happening? Duratya. I cannot understand. So we cannot understand the Lord's plan, but we have the faith that whatever the Lord does, whatever plan He has, is for our ultimate good. And this is how we see every situation in life. So Prabhupada in his purport actually to this verse, he quotes Tatenu Kampam Susmekshmano Bhunjan Evam Kritam Vipakam Ridwag Vatpure Vidadan Namaste Jive Toyo Mukti Padesa Dayabha. So Prabhupada is saying this verse is telling a devotee is never disturbed by reverses, because he accepts even reverse condition, that this is the plan of the Lord, this is the mercy of the Lord, and one who continues to serve the Lord in spite of all the challenging situation, that person is assured to go back home, back to God. So beautiful. So even when we have challenges, if you can just say, okay, whatever challenge, Krishna, I don't know why you're doing this, but with my body, with my words, with my mind, I am going to serve you. I'm going to continue my service. I'm not going to give up my service. That is what I'm going to do. With my body, I'm going to engage in practical service. With my words, I'm going to speak your glories. I'm going to chant the holy name. However difficult the situation is, I'm going to chant. And in my mind, I'm going to think about you. And this I'm going to do, even if whatever challenging situation is there. And if a devotee can do that, Prabhupada is saying that person is assured he can go back home, back to Godhead. Right? Such a beautiful point. So let's stop here. Sorry, I went a little bit over time. So let's see, anyone has any quick questions? So I hope that's okay, this whole section. And so this brings us that, in 14, 15, 16, so 3 chapters we have been discussing Brahma's conversation with the demigods. And now we will continue how these two, Diti and gives birth to Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, and how they are born, and that continues. Okay. So Deepshika Mataji, yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhu. Prabhuji, one question. Prabhuji, if you could elaborate the point which you said, be careful of any offenses. The first level is outside by, cursing, they became demons. So, if you could elaborate a little on that point, Prabhuji.
So my point was like every pastime you can understand it at different levels. One level, which is the innermost level, is why is this whole thing happening? Why is Jan Vijay cursed? Well, the answer to that is that point of Krishna wanted to enjoy that mood of fighting, right? So that is the and Jan Vijay. So that's the innermost reason. Now, but for us, we must say like, how can I get a practical lesson out of it? Then we look at the same pastime with a different vision, maybe one level outside. And in outside, we see the maybe like a little bit more superficial vision of the pastime. And we see like, okay, what has happened here? Okay, Jay and Vijay, they stopped the four Kumaras, and because of that, they got cursed. Right? Because of that, they got cursed. So how this, this whole interaction between the four Kumaras and Jay and Vijay, how like first Jay and Vijay stopped and then they were cursed, and then when Jay and Vijay were cursed, they were begging for forgiveness, but all that started with just seeing that, oh, these four Kumaras, they are just young boys, I don't know, they are qualified to enter. And the point is, we tend to look at devotees from an external vision. We'll see someone and immediately our mind will say, oh, this devotee, he's doing like that. Oh, maybe he's not a good devotee. Right? I mean, that's because we are conditioned to that material way of looking, and immediately we see and we say, oh, while chanting, he's sleeping. Oh, maybe not so good devotee. And so many reasons we just try to find fault and say, oh, that's not a good devotee. And that is an offense. What Jay and Vijay did, that is an offense, right? So that we have to be careful that we don't see devotees from an external point of view, and we always, if they're chanting Hare Krishna, they're saying Hare Krishna, we offer our honor to them, and then based on their level of advancement, then we actually we serve them, we connect with them, and so on. Right?
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very helpful.
Thank you. Okay, we are already 9:39. Rohit Prabhu, maybe a quick question.
Yeah, I was just going to ask Prabhu, if I, just a follow up to the point that Mataji made, if we realize that, we have, made a mistake, or how do we, go about seeking forgiveness from that devotee? Yeah,
I mean, see, so there are two situations here. One is because we are conditioned, sometimes unknowingly we make a mistake. We say something and we don't even mean it, but devotee feels like, oh, he said that, and they feel hurt, right? So that is a more difficult situation. If you know that, oh, I said that, maybe I should have not said that, then it is already like, you're already at a place that you know what to do. What do? You go to the Vaishnava, you fall at his feet, Vanchakalpatarubhyasya, and you say, I am really sorry. I didn't mean it. It's just because of my previous conditioning. I said something, but I should not have said that. I'm really sorry. Please forgive me. And Vaishnavas, because they're very merciful, you approach with that mood, and they're like, no, 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 no. Nothing happened. It's all okay. But because you did that act of begging for forgiveness, then Krishna sees and say, okay, this person is actually, he's begging for forgiveness, then I want, But if we don't do that, and we'll say like, oh, that Vaishnava is merciful, I don't need to do that. But Krishna is actually saying, oh, you offended my devotee? Okay, that is a big offense, right? So if we know that we are committed offenses, then we just go to the Vaishnava with full humility, we fall at their feet and we beg forgiveness and say, okay, how can I serve you? I want to do something for you. Maybe can I, cook for you? Can I give prasadam to you? Practically, we want to serve. Some or other do some service. And that will please that Vaishnava. And then our offense will be resolved, or we don't need to worry about that. But on the other hand, if you don't know, then our only solution there is to always have the mood of humility, where every Vaishnava, we always offer our obeisances, we pray, and we, in general, even if we have not committed, we have, we always like, please, if in case I made any offenses, please forgive me. That mood of humility, that mood of like, whatever happens, having the mood that, okay, please, please forgive any offenses. Just having that mood is always to be on the safe side. Is that okay, bro?
Yeah, it's okay. It's just easier said than done. Like, just
Yeah, I mean, see, that's it. Maybe going need overtime, but that's the point that, do we want Krishna Bhakti or do we want to hold on that I am right?
right, right, right.
You know?
Yeah,
And it is like, see, bhakti is one way, the process we say, okay, it is easy. Chant Hare Krishna, you'll be happy. But internally, what happens? It is not easy because it is directly, smashing our false ego. And
yes,
our false ego is something that we always want to hold and say, no, no, this is who I am.
yes,
And then our false ego is like, and
yeah,
then it's like, oh, that was painful. But Krishna is actually doing it so that he's bringing us closer to him. So if we really want bhakti, then, okay, he said something, he criticized me in front of everyone. This is, Krishna has a plan here. I accept it. I'm going to, so just being willing to, and Krishna does that. I mean,
yeah,
as you progress in bhakti, you spend years in bhakti, and you will see, like, I mean, something you didn't even think, and all of a sudden someone will come, and and things will happen, and when it happens, it is painful, but overall, maybe after some time you look back and you say, like, okay, Krishna, that anartha was there, and this is how you pulled it away. So, so yeah.
yeah,
So just being, yeah, I mean, yes, it is difficult to do it, but again, this is a cost we have to pay to attain that highest perfection.
yes. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I know, sorry, not Millie Mataji. Her name is now, what's her name, Mataji? Sorry.
Mangala Bhakti Prabhu.
Yes, Mangala Bhakti Mataji. Okay. Yes, Mangala Bhakti. Okay. Yes, so maybe tomorrow, if we'll take your question tomorrow, we'll solve in 143. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you all so much for your association. We'll end here. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवताम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. So also all the Vaishnavas here, if in case I've done any offenses, please kindly forgive me. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.